Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans Podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy. With me is Nick and Joe. And so, yeah, we've finally we're covering a Saw sequel. We've covered the first one about a year ago, and I'm surprised it actually took us long this long to get to Saw 2.
Well, if you really think about it, though, it does kind of make sense in a way, considering last year was the first Saw's 20th anniversary. Now Saw 2's 20th anniversary is coming up.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't know, I just wanted to cover Saw movies a little bit more frequently moving forward because we've been covering like all the sequels to the Scream franchise. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, so I figured why should we stop there? Why not just but anyway, so yeah, Saw 2 released in 2005, and it was uh, written by Lee Wynell this time. Yeah, he didn't direct. Let's see. Instead, let's see. Saw 2 was directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. Yeah,
Darren
who
Lynn
had
Bousman,
directed. Yeah, Darren Lynn Bousman, who not only directed Saw 2, he also directed Saw 3, Saw 4, and also Spiral for the Book of Saw.
yeah, he directed a good majority of the franchise, at least during that period. And actually, I think you're going to find this interesting, Don, about Darren Lynn Bousman. Again, may find it hard to believe, but I'm also friends with him too on Facebook as well.
Nice. Yeah, he's made other horror films like let's see. Let's see, Mother's Day, and also The Barons.
Yeah, he's created quite the amount of other films, and he also did. He only directed one episode, but you remember, for starters, when and again, funny enough, we talked about this, partially last week or the week before, I believe, when we talked about Mick Garris. You know how he had that horror franchise. He had Masters of Horror.
Mm-hmm.
He made a second.
I keep hearing a background noise.
Yeah, I'm hearing that too. I don't know. I wasn't sure whose that was coming from.
Might be Joe's.
It might be.
Yeah, I think it is. He just muted his mic.
Yeah, it's my fan. My computer, the thing runs a little hot in here.
Oh, okay.
No fan gets a little loud. It's kind of a small space, so the computer is sitting, close proximity. So what you hear is the fan.
Okay.
It should be quieter, but when it gets warm.
Well, what I was saying though, like when Mick Garris did the Masters of Horror series, he did a second series, which unfortunately didn't have as much success as Masters of Horror, did, because it wasn't as gory or as violent. But Darren Lynn Bousman did direct it was a show called Fear Itself, which aired on NBC, and Darren Lynn Bousman, I believe, actually directed one of those episodes.
Oh, okay. I think that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't as successful as Masters of Horror, especially to a lot of the horror film fans out there who love like the goriness and violence and stuff like that compared to Masters of Horror. So that's why probably the reason it just didn't have that much popularity, even though it was still directed by famous directors, including Darren Lynn Bousman himself. So, once again, it was those kind of shows that we wish we could have seen more seasons out of and more involvement with these directors, but you can only do so much, of course. But just wanted to throw that out as a separate note.
I hear you. Oh yeah, and let's see. So, yeah, Saw 2, like I said, released a year after the first movie because the original one was a low budget film, but it made big in the box office, over $100 million, and this film, the sequel, had a less I think about 4 times the budget, if I remember this correctly, but and it made about 40 million more than the first movie did. So this was also a huge hit.
Yeah, at least, yeah. It's probably one of my favorite. Oh, Big Ol' Tom!
Hey, Tom.
Hello, Nick.
Hey,
Jeremy.
It's good to see you, Tom.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Oh, I know you are. That's why
you hear that? He wants to play a game.
Yeah, right. He's the Minecraft Nick bounty hunter now.
That's right. To quote the great Scary Terry, you can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Yeah, Scary Terry. Bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, guys? What's going on?
I just gotta say, oh jeez, Rick, he sure says bitch a lot.
Yeah, well, maybe if you weren't such a bitch. I mean,
Oh my God, Tom.
that's the first
But
time I've done that voice in a while. So
It has been. It really has been.
what's up, Joe?
yeah,
How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing. I'm fasting for my blood work tomorrow. So
Oh,
it's
that's
all part of the blood pressure issues I'm having. So
How are you feeling? Speaking of which,
I'm okay this week so far, even though I was very much tested with my blood pressure today with the boss. But yeah, it's okay.
okay.
That's
Last week I was just feeling it. Like when your blood pressure rises to a certain point, you feel it from like the bottom of your neck up to the top of your head. And I was going through that last week quite a bit. And the doctor did say he wanted me to stop drinking, so you guys aren't going to be seeing me drinking beer anymore.
I know it's sad.
I'm still going to drink when I go out, just not at home.
Oh, Pam?
Oh, hey, Pam Wellington. How's it going?
Is that a new viewer? I don't know if I've seen her before.
I think so. That name doesn't look familiar, but yeah. Regardless, Pam, welcome. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we always love you. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes. So Saw 2. Yeah, this you get a whole lot more into Jigsaw's backstory, and you see a whole lot more of Jigsaw. Like he's conversing with Detective Matthews, played by Donnie Wahlberg, who we were just talking about last time on Fear Fans when he was making a brief appearance in the opening scene of The Sixth Sense.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was more than just the opening scene, though, wasn't it? Like they flashed to it a couple times in the movie.
At least a few times.
Yeah, there was. That's true. Yeah, but yeah, maybe the opening scene was the main portion that he was in.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there were a few flashback sequences. But yeah. But in this film, he has a much bigger role. He's the lead, and he's plays a detective who was working with the rest of the team to go after Jigsaw. Oh, here, hey Thomas, how's it going? And these games are more twisted. Oh yes, definitely.
I want to play
It's like yeah. So they managed to track. It's like they seem to track down Jigsaw. Like Jigsaw's apparent reign of terror is apparently over, but nope, he has more victims who are like who they see on the monitors, which includes Detective Matthews' son, Daniel, who was in a house with a whole bunch of ex-cons who have to find an antidote to a nerve gas that they've been breathing in.
Oh yeah,
and so it's a racing against time.
You got to mention that those cons that he was in that house with were all arrested and set up by Detective Matthews in the first place.
Yeah.
Yep, that was revealed later on in the film. Yes, so yeah, so he was pretty much putting Daniel in hot water at that point.
That's the first time we met that one character too. The chick, what's her name?
Amanda.
Yeah, the one that went on to other things within the Jigsaw realm.
Yes, it was revealed later on that she was Jigsaw's apprentice in the end. Yeah, like that. I just love the twist in this. Like, it's like sure the twist in the first film was pretty mind blowing, but this took that and doubled. It just doubled in the second one. But yeah, and the opening, and of course, as with all these Saw movies, there's always like this opening scene where it shows like from this film forward, there's always like an opening scene which shows like some sort of a death trap, and in this case, it was like with a character named Michael, who turns out to be a police informant and was rigged with this device that would has like a mask with spikes in it, and if he didn't dig the key out of his eye in time and to unlock that thing off his head, it would shut on him. And yeah, it did not go well for him.
No, usually doesn't go well for any of them.
Yeah, really. Oh, hey, Billy. Oh, I mean, don't worry, Billy. You're just just a few minutes late, but yeah, it's whatever. We're just starting, so you're good.
And I won't be on the whole show either. By the way, I'm kind of popping in for a little while, and then I got to go to bed. But
oh no, I understand. It's all good, Tom.
I had to make an appearance. I haven't been on here in a bit, so. Yeah.
Well, hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that eye trap was definitely brutal. But you know what's the one trap that everybody always talks about in this movie? everybody, and that's the pit that was full of those syringes. Oh my god, yeah, like
Yeah.
Nick, is Nick muted?
Either that or he lost his voice. Thank God he lost his voice.
Yep, he lost his voice. He's probably talking to somebody on the phone or something. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
I was hoping he would join in on this part because I had plenty to say about this needle pit scene, but we'll come back to that when he's But I like how like the whole thing about the SWAT team they fight. It seems like they finally tracked down Jigsaw, but so we get into like Jigsaw's like origin story, like what drove him to set people in traps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
like I mean, it was revealed in the first film that Jigsaw was a cancer patient named John Kramer who had an inoperable frontal lobe tumor, and his doctor was Lawrence, one of the victims in the first film. And then Jigsaw decided he was going to take his own life, like driving his car off a cliff, but he ended up surviving it. And he decided, you know what? I need to teach people the value of human life. Those who don't value their life don't deserve life. That's his whole motive.
But it was also to prove to himself that I think that the will to survive and live is a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if given the right circumstances and you're put in the right circumstances, that will to live will make you fight to live.
Yeah.
And survive.
Yeah, like he does bring up. Oh wait, this movie never revealed what happened to with Gordon and Adam. Oh, it actually did reveal what happened to Adam at least. Gordon they stayed for later. It makes sense as you watch the series, but they did manage to find Adam's rotting corpse in the end inside that bathroom where the whole thing started.
That would be Nick's wet nightmare.
Oh, Jesus. Hey Nick, wrap it up.
Especially if they were hissing cockroaches.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's probably what he's dealing with. He's dealing with.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I had to take an important phone call, but I cut it short.
A call from the president.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's good.
Yep, that was me. I was talking to Nick.
Just want to let you know everything's good.
To be completely honest with you, Don, it was actually our Rochelle. I just thought of it I just thought of it at the very last second because I know she loves the Saw movies, and I actually offered if she wanted to come on to the show with us.
Oh,
as like a guest.
Okay.
Unfortunately, again, I should have asked her earlier, but again, it's been a really busy day, so she really wanted to, but she's out of the house currently. She was trying to tell me about a few other things, but I told her it's going to have to wait because I'm on the show right now. So, but I'm sure she would understand, though.
I'm on the show. These guys are watching me have a muted conversation with you right now.
No. The bottom line was I thought I'd offer if she wanted to come on, but unfortunately she can't.
Oh, yeah. I got you. Hey, I was just joking when I said wrap it up. Yeah, I meant that.
Yeah, I know. I know you were. That's why I was wrapping it up shortly.
Anyway, so Billy's right. He didn't return to this movie because he was working on another horror film, Dead Silence, which I thought was just okay.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Silent Hill. I thought I got that wrong. No, Dead Silence was all right. I mean, I definitely wish it could have been, a better film as what it is. Although I will have to admit, they still had a good cast in that movie, regardless.
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg was also in that too.
So what you're saying, it was definitely 100%, without a doubt, a movie.
She's watching right now, actually, guys.
Okay.
What's up, Rochelle? What's up, Rochelle?
Yeah.
How's it going? Yeah, so, I wanted to bring this up. Probably the one trap that everybody always talks about from this movie in Saw 2 was the needle pit. Hypodermic, the pit full of the hypos.
Hypodermic needles.
And Joe came up with an even worse one.
Oh, God.
If it had the needles and roaches.
Oh, wait, what did he rub? Oh God, no!
Somebody in.
That was Robert, and then you added the hissing roaches. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh God, no!
The hissing roaches that fly.
Yep, that's right. But anyway, so yeah, that trap. That trap was in. I mean, that trap was initially meant for Xavier, who was one. Yeah, he's one of the con men trapped in the house with them. He was he was like a drug dealer. So this whole thing was just like some form of like karmic justice.
I saw that somewhere too, Thomas.
Yeah, but then they actually you accidentally used a real needle in the scene. Oh yeah, I wanted to get to that, Thomas. I wanted to explain to the whole behind the scenes aspect of that. But so Xavier like was supposed to be in that trap, but he said nope, and then shoved Amanda in there, and then Amanda had to dig through all those needles to find the key to the locked door before the timer ran out. Yeah, and yes, Billy, that needle pit was definitely cringe, but I should mention. There actually is. I want to mention the whole backstory as far as the behind the scenes of that.
Do you hear how many?
So in order, yes, I actually looked this up. Hang on.
I just looked it up myself.
Yep, and there were over 100,000 syringes that they had to alter to make sure they didn't actually hurt Shawnee Smith, who played him.
They had to pluck the tips off of them. It was actually 120,000 needles.
Oh yeah, it started off with that. Yeah, it started off with just like tens of thousands, like 20,000, but they decided nope, that wasn't enough. We got to add more. And let's see, 40,000. Nope, we got to add more, and so on until they got to 120,000. And they had to replace the tips of the needles like with let's see, hang on, I'm trying to let me look this up. Hang on.
Probably rubber
with fiber optic needle tips so that they looked like real needles.
Yeah.
Yes.
The rest
and
of
also
the bodies of these needles were probably real ones, but they removed the actual needle.
They were real syringes.
They're real syringes, but they removed the actual needle piece, so it didn't.
But really not all of them.
Yeah. And what's chilling is that there's a story that goes around that supposedly that needles that weren't removed were actually placed in the pit itself. So it does give you that realization that had they not realized that sooner and they shot that scene, pretty sure some of those injuries would have actually been real.
The actress, talk about it.
Yeah. So thankfully, Shawnee Smith was not injured in that, and also when she landed in there after he threw her in, she wasn't landing directly on a hard surface. They put like a styrofoam padding underneath all those needles, so she was able to land without hurting herself. And it's a good thing that she was never injured on set in any way, shape, or form because during the production of this film, she was pregnant.
Oh wow! Well, and that's the other thing too that makes me think. Like when they found out that there were some needles that still didn't have the actual needle pieces removed. I mean, again, so glad they halted filming because now that you said that, had they shot that scene with those real needles within the pit, I can guarantee it would definitely be more than just special blood effects. In other words, and especially for someone who's pregnant, it definitely would have been very, very ugly.
I saw an interview with her talking about it, and I could swear she said that she did go in when they were in there, but she did. I guess she didn't get hurt, but
no, she wasn't hurt.
She could have, but they didn't. She could have had they not inspected the pit before they started filming. It would. Terrible.
It wouldn't. I mean, it's a needle, so it wouldn't have been that bad, and there was never any medication of any kind in any of them or anything.
Yeah, but these are still sharp needles, though. They're still going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes, Billy, it's true. She was pregnant during filming. About 4 months pregnant, if I remember correctly. But she didn't tell anybody on set until later on. I think she only told the director at one point. But it's possible that a stunt double could have been used. That's likely.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But even though the needles were removed during that scene, still just watching that, just seeing those needles, just hanging off of her and stuff, it's just so cringy to watch. And it
is. It looks so real.
Well, and consider
it was like.
Well, go ahead.
It was like. Yeah, it was definitely one of the most realistic looking things of the whole movie. Seriously, like that.
just to think, because for the longest time, I used to have a fear of needles. So, like, going to blood tests or getting shots and stuff. So that always freaked. I would certainly say it's not a scene for anybody who's afraid of needles. That is for sure.
Hey, that's every kid, Nick. All sorts of kids out there are afraid of needles.
It continued. It wasn't just for not always kids. I mean, it continued into my teens and young adult years, for a while before I finally got the numbing stuff. But it still hurts, though.
I still can't watch it go in myself or anybody else.
I have to watch.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm just going to tell you guys
it doesn't bother me. I've been poked with needles so many times because of the cancer shit I went through.
Yeah.
That, I have to watch now, and otherwise it does hurt if I'm not watching.
Wow.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I was in the hospital a few months back, they had to put a needle in my wrist. Well, not my wrist, but where my vein is. They had to try to get blood out of it, and they couldn't get to it. So all I felt was this incredible pain.
That's the worst place to get it.
They were trying to get to a vein on the right hand, and obviously my immediate reaction
right here.
That's exactly how I was. But then they had to put it in my other hand where they were able to detect the vein. And oh my god! So
why the hand? Why not up here where they normally?
It wasn't a blood test. It was to get. I forgot exactly what it was for, but it was for a very important reason. They had to get blood out of a vein on my hand. But man, when I watch that scene now compared to what happened to me a few months ago, it feels even more realistic to me.
Oh, Robert.
Oh boy.
Man,
I don't know about.
We don't need to know that about yourself, man.
Here, Billy was asking me if I know what Uma Thurman. Yes, crashed a blue convertible apparently into a palm tree. Yes, I remember that.
I've never really watched. It's funny. I take it back. I've only seen pieces and parts of like Kill Bill with Uma Thurman. My dad loves those movies.
Both movies are great.
I love those movies.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I know they're extremely gory, but I just could not get myself into it. But my dad, he loves Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Never watched them.
They are awesome. They really are. They suck you in. I mean, they're ridiculous with some of the.
You're missing out. You got to see them. They're amazing.
Some of the fight scenes are ridiculous, but they are fascinating.
I've tried. I mean, maybe next time my dad watches them, I'm going to try to. Maybe I could try to get interested.
When you said that people talk about that needle pit, I'm trying to figure out why, because it's not the worst one. It's really not I mean, I would think that maybe the guy getting shot right in the eye at point blank range might have something.
Yeah.
Or when the chick walks in the room and there's that trap hanging from the ceiling, and she puts her hands in there to try to get the needle.
And can't get it out.
Pulls out, and after that, she's trapped like this, and she's starting to get cut.
Yeah.
You know?
Literally have to peel your own skin off to get out.
Yeah, I feel like that one was 100% avoidable. If she had bothered actually looking like, of course, I can understand that she couldn't like play the tape because she didn't have the tape recorder with her. There was a tape that she could have listened to that may have helped her solve it. But if she had taken a second to look, she would have noticed that the blades were there. If you put your hand through there, you're gonna get cut. Like, yeah,
just one hand at a time and push the blades up.
It's likely. But
I mean, you got to realize though that syringe was sitting there just right. So then you got to realize to be sitting like that, it had to be attached to the glass somehow too.
Yeah, you had to find a way to detach it, like knock it off a certain way. Don't pull it up and unplunge the whole thing. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it just spilt all over the thing, and it's like, how do you she must have felt really bad after that because she couldn't even give herself a shot to cure herself because she was trapped and it all spilt out right in front of her eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was her name? Addison. That was her name.
I got to say just one more thing, too, about that needle pit scene. I mean, the one thing that does kind of freaked me out a little bit when I watched it. I mean, it's one of those scenes I really think to myself, "Jeez, I hope that hasn't." We certainly hope that nothing like that has ever truly happened in real life, and hopefully never will. That's always something that's sometimes a little concerning to watch, like because you have all those crazy horror film fans out there, and I'm thinking to myself, "Geez, I sure hope no crazy killer or torturer is going to take that as a use for real life torture or something like that." So it's an awesome scene, but at the same time, I'm always a little worried. What's up, Josh?
Hey, Josh. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Oh, Billy, the one that Billy's referring to, Saw 3. Yes, they definitely upped the gore in that one.
Yeah, they did. That to me, I mean,
yeah,
I've only seen the first 3 Saw movies, of course, along when we saw Spiral done, which I know a lot of people have different opinions on the Saw movies. Like, some of them say that some of them are good, some of them are bad. And of course, well, not just the first 3 and Jigsaw. We saw the one from 2 years ago. So I think to me, the first 3 movies are probably the best, but I would say Saw 3 was definitely. Wait, is that the new one? Oh wait, you're ordering it.
I just ordered the Blu-ray of it. So
that's awesome.
That's going on my that's going on my collection.
Well, see, that's the general rule of horror films, though, is that when there's more than 3, the first 3 are always the best, and then after that they suck. Even with Nightmare on Elm Street. 3 was the mecca, and then
I had to cover. I actually, when I showed you guys this, I had to cover the lower part because that would have listed my address, and I'm just like, there's no way in hell I'm up.
Yeah,
that's right. I might stop by your house. You don't know.
Yeah, he could be the. He could. He's coming out.
Tom, Hey, Tom, I'm not worried about you coming to my house. You're cool. Hang out, watch a game or something. But anybody out there who was, there's all sorts of people online who could be watching this, and I'm like, putting my address out there, no, that's not happening.
He's coming after me, Don. In Minecraft, and he's trying to put me in. Wait, what?
That's in Minecraft. That's because you keep trolling him.
Yeah.
He's going in an obsidian cell.
I was going to say, not only does he want to kill me, but he wants to put me in obsidian prison. So
I had him in there once.
He comes after me, he's going to come after you.
I had him in there once. I let him out.
He wants to play a game in there.
That's right.
So
I had him in there once. I let him out of the kindness of my heart after like 5 minutes, and then he went out and did right away what he got put in there for.
I was having a party.
No.
And I also, not only that, one more thing, Don, is I also when I got freed, I also took down the obsidian too to prevent it from rebuilding it.
Here,
but I have an obsidian maker.
So. He has a copy.
Who does?
Cool.
Billy. He just sent me a picture of his copy that he's got.
What I was originally saying was, I definitely would agree, because out of all the movies, I would say Saw 3 is definitely the goriest one I've seen. I mean, for the longest time, I used to say it for Saw 2, but Saw 3, that really got intense. And that's probably, I would say, aside from the original one, that's probably my favorite sequel.
Yeah, they get more graphic than that as the series goes on.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Saw 3, after Saw 3, it gets worse. It really gets worse.
Sure it does.
For those of you wondering, his address is 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Yeah, that's totally where I live. Yes, right. Let's see. Yeah, and also like for Nick, for example, there was an opening Jigsaw trap where these people have to cut off parts of their body to put in a scale. Like whoever gave the most is released.
Yeah, they have to cut parts, not necessarily parts, but pieces of their skin, literally.
Yes, I don't want to spoil what happens, but it's truly gruesome.
Basically,
I'd cut off my belly and I'd be free.
Numbers, it's tattooed onto them.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about cutting parts of them off.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, you know what I mean, though. Yeah.
Actually, the smart move would be to cut parts off of somebody else and put them on your scale.
Yeah, not that simple. They were both separated by a wall.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, they were separated by a wall, just as Trump wanted to.
Yeah, that's right. I put up a wall. They need to cut off their own flesh, their own parts, in order to survive.
Well, then I'd just cut off my belly, put it on the scale, and I'd be free.
Yeah, Jesus.
What about all your beer, though?
I could start all over.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
I'm gonna have
how
to
do
make.
you-
You know what? You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna have to come up with a comment for my next speech to describe you as being the most interesting man in the YouTube world.
But I'm starting to get there, man. I noticed a couple of grays happening on the side, so I'm, you never know. I might start looking like them too.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying. Just for that, I'm gonna have to come up with an idea for that stomach cutting idea.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, there's a theory that Kevin McAllister from Home Alone becomes Jigsaw. Yeah, it's like, but the timeline would not add up though, because there's definitely no way that like the whole franchise started in 1990, right? For
Yeah.
the Home Alone franchise, the Saw franchise started in 2004, or 2003 if you count that short film that started it. But anyway, so 14 years. Yeah, there's no way he had become that little boy, Kevin McAllister, became an old man in 14 years.
Well, maybe it was his dad.
You know, and not only that, I got to throw this out because, Don, if you remember, I showed you this after we saw the new Saw movie. Then let's not forget Tobin Bell.
You saw the new Saw?
What?
You saw the new Saw? Did you see it when you saw it?
Yes, we saw it. I saw it when I saw it.
Okay.
Belly Blaster 3000. I like that, Robert. But I was going to say, let's not forget Tobin Bell. A few years before he started doing the Saw movies, I told you, I showed it to you after we saw this, the Saw X movie, he was even in an episode of Seinfeld running a record shop. And
right.
And he had Kramer and Newman and mock him.
Yep.
That explains why Jigsaw started going after people. It's because of Newman and Kramer. Or as I would say, hello, Newman.
Hello, Newman. I want to play a game.
Oh my god.
I gotta say, wouldn't that be funny as hell? I mean, even though Saw is supposed to be a serious movie, can you imagine if they brought those two actors, Kramer,
like
and Newman,
in between scenes, you got that Seinfeld cutscene music.
That'd be funny as hell. I don't know about you guys. That would be funny because they all started it.
Here, Billy wanted to show you guys like what he has in his collection.
Wow,
look at that! Hey, that's watched for my personal account.
Man. Oh, sweet. Yeah, but let's see. Oh, another disturbing death trap in this was when they found when Xavier found a letter. They went to the basement and Xavier found a letter written Obi, and he's like, "What's an Obi?" And I'm like, "Have you ever seen Star Wars?"
He's the one.
Oh, look what Robert had
Obi-Wan.
said. Robert
and
so Minecraft, say it to an Enderman. Enderman, I want to play a game.
Yes, definitely. But anyway, so then we find out that that one of the antidotes is inside of a furnace, and Obi is forced to go in there to get the needles and for the antidotes, but accidentally turns on the furnace and realizes way too late that if he turned the wheel that was on the other side of that furnace where the flames were, he could have prevented himself from burning alive, and that's exactly what happened. He burned alive.
That was a horrible way to die.
That's the worst way to go. Like that, I can't imagine anything worse. Burning alive. Like, I mean, I've accidentally gotten burns from my oven once before, but and imagine feeling that for seconds and minutes, being on fire. Like, oh, I can't. That's horrific. Seriously.
Well, you knew it was going to happen though. The minute you took that first needle, and it was attached to a chain above, and he pulls it down, and all of a sudden the flames started.
Well, not only that word of advice for you guys, because actually something you were just mentioning about, Don. Someone said this on YouTube one day, but fire. I mean, he once said that you talk to firefighters, who go out and try to save, who try to fight these fires. They will tell you, they will literally tell you that they would rather die of asphyxiation from smoke than burning alive, because at least, yes, the asphyxiation is a kind of a more quicker death, if you will, but burning alive in this case, you're dying a very slow, horrific, and painful death. So a lot of firefighters a lot of firefighters will tell you they'd rather die of asphyxiation than burning alive.
You know, I knew some people that were firefighters that got some serious burns on their body in different places because, you know, the fires were so bad that they were involved in. But, you know, they were in intensive care, just basically saying, they told me later, it's like, you would never believe it. I cried like a baby, he said. You know, the whole time I was intensive care because the pain was so terrible. It's like it starts burning you on the inside as well. You know, some of those burns get so bad, they continue to burn even though you're not on fire or anything anymore.
There was a story I can recall from years ago, and this was captured on film of, you know, firefighters fighting a fire like of an oil fire out in Texas. And the whole thing exploded. Even though nobody was in the fire or the actual blast, all the heat, just like it's like a balloon, you know, it expands out. So even if you're not in the flames, the heat goes out, and you could still receive third-degree burns.
Not to mention the burning oil that's coming out of it.
That too. And they interviewed They interviewed one firefighter that was a little bit closer to the blast, and while she escaped the initial blast, she ended up getting third-degree burns, and they said it was the same exact. I saw that too. I'm sorry to hear about that, Joanne. But yeah, it radiates what Robert says, and yeah, they said when they had to take her to the hospital, they had to scrape like part of her arm to put new skin on. They said no pain medication, no numbing. They didn't knock her out. She was just screaming. But in spite of those injuries, she never regretted being she was actually a volunteer. She never regretted being a volunteer firefighter. But,
that reminds me of like a news article I recently read that there was a guy who recently became a firefighter. He was inspired to do so after suffering severe burns from a fire when he was little.
Yeah, when you get those third-degree burns, you're stuck with those. I mean, that's when all skin cells in your skin are destroyed. So it will not heal at that point. So all this talk about like this scene in particular, I would choose any other way to die than burning alive. That's for sure. Yeah. I know it sounds extreme, but that's just my personal.
It's got to be the worst way to die.
It's definitely. And
it depends on how hot the fire is.
Centuries ago, we used to execute people through burning.
God!
Well, what about the stake during the Salem witch trials?
That's right.
1692.
I seriously would not even wish that on my worst enemies.
No.
Wow.
It's crazy to think we did that, but unfortunately, that was that era. At least there's a more humane and quicker way than it was 400 years ago.
No, there's a few of them out there that probably did deserve to be burned instead of being put to death quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, with the people they thought were witches, of course they had to burn them because if they hung them, they'd come back to life. But hanging was a thing back then too.
Oh well, that was
Braxton
used for centuries.
Hey, Braxton, how's it going?
Also, beheading.
Yeah,
there were all sorts of insane ways they used to execute people.
I would basically say, and this is kind of well, if you really, and this kind of reflects upon some of the traps that Jigsaw sets up. I mean, when you really think about it, throughout history, we've crucified, burned at the stake, stoned, hung, gas, electrocuted, beheaded, and of course now recently, lethal injection. And it is my personal opinion that, as much as, some of us oppose the death penalty, others don't, and other states and countries have different opinions, is my personal opinion that such things like that, capital punishment is going to remain one way or another.
Yeah, an eye for an eye, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, plenty of people feel like, why should we spare the death penalty? Why should we show you mercy when you weren't being merciful to the person you killed? A lot of people out there have that mindset. Yeah, a lot of people think that way.
Especially when it's women and children.
Yeah,
that they kill.
Yeah, and Brexit says the homes from the Salem witch trials are still there. That's true. That is true.
They're Salem today. There's still homes from. They're still there. In fact, the most notorious of those buildings is what's known as the witch house. That is, believe it or not, the only known structure still standing that actually had involvement with the Salem witch trials. There are other homes that existed, but this one actually played a crucial role to the witch trials.
I wonder why they call it a witch house. It's weird.
Well, there was
it's
a lot of
story.
Oh no, I'm just
too.
sarcasm.
I'll cover that for
I've heard about that one, Braxton. Yes. Oh, so okay, so the whole point of this is that Obi's death in this film was arguably the most painful of all.
Yeah.
Seriously. And also I came across like a clip. Somebody made a clip years ago of that scene, and it shows like the fire happening, but the outside, the exterior, like before they broke the glass, and somebody threw in this audio right here.
Oh my God.
I'm like, really? Austin Powers.
Guys, speaking of like witches and stuff like that, this just showed up on my I gotta show this to you because this is creepy as hell.
Okay.
This photograph of a street lamp with vines growing on it, and look what it looks like when it's all hung up.
Let's see.
Look at that.
Oh God.
That's creepy as hell.
That is.
And then of course you have it in dusk, and I think the people obviously intentionally keep it that way. So as you saw the darker picture, which is during the evening hours, it's supposed to give those glowing eyes in a way. That is probably nature's best Halloween decoration right there.
Probably, yeah. Oh,
yeah, that's right, Robert.
Yes, Thomas. Yeah, we were gonna discuss this a little later in the end. The whole twist of it, but yeah, I always tell people the twist in the first film was good. The twist in the second film was even better. So they've been monitoring what was going on with the ex-cons in the house, along with Daniel and Amanda, and watch them getting killed in those death traps on the monitors. But then they the police team, they bring on to their tech units to trace the signal as to where that's coming from, the video feed. And so they go to a house, which turns out the whole thing was just pre-recorded. They were playing back tapes from another location through a VCR. It wasn't live at all. They were those people you saw killed. They were dead this whole time. And that footage,
all the events in that movie already happened.
Yeah, the footage occurred 2 days prior. And remember when Jigsaw said that if you just stay and talk to me for 2 hours, you will find your son in a safe and secure state. He was inside of a safe at the that factory, with them the whole time. He was just feet away from that whole team. And he would Matthews had his son there the whole time, and that timer that was counting down, that was the timer to unlock the safe that Daniel was in with an oxygen tank. He was in there all this time. And
Jigsaw essentially kept his word that his son was safe, and in this case, his dad pretty much failed what would have essentially been the easiest test / game that anyone would have had to endure. All he would have had to have done was sit and talk with them.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But he let his emotions, his rage, get the better of him. Just beating on Jigsaw, breaking his finger, and then forcing him into a van to drive him to the house, and also using it, basically using him like you're abusing a GPS, like saying, "Where is it now? Which direction?" Just
wouldn't you if he had your son?
Yeah, I mean, I would be enraged. I mean, I would be mad as all hell.
If a cycle like that had your son, wouldn't you be like, you wouldn't have
freaking out.
Patience.
Oh, I mean,
patience, my ass,
Not to mention that house that he took him to. Let's not forget, he said it was the last house on the left.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that was a little nod to a particularly brutal horror film from the 70s, which I will say for the record, I prefer the remake over the original because I feel like the remake had a much better ending.
I've only seen the original Last House. I've not seen the remake yet.
And I like how it also has from Breaking Bad. Oh my god! So yeah, there was this character from Breaking Bad. I'm trying his Aaron Paul was his name. Let's see, he played Jesse. Yes,
Jesse Pinkman.
Yes, I like how he was in it. And he met his fate from having his hand inside of a garbage disposal, and then had his head hit with a claw of a hammer.
He's
That.
Jesse Pinkman, bitch.
Yep, that's right.
Real quick, I just wanted to get. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to the comments here because again they're not showing up. Oh, hey Irene.
Hey, Irene.
Oh, you caught a cold. Hope you feel better soon.
Yes.
Well, catch a warm. You'll feel better.
You caught a cold. You got to catch a warm. Yes, that's the best way.
Ed here says, and I don't know if Ed's still watching, so I apologize when I didn't respond sooner. This is going back to when we were talking about fire injuries and stuff. Just to he said, "This is true. The nerves will continue to be damaged. Then, as the nerves begin to heal, it feels like burning in needles."
Yeah, that's true. Like there are nerve gases that could actually affect the human body like that. It's legitimately terrifying.
It is. It's really one of those situations, like those type of death. I mean, like one of those death throes, if you will. That at that point, once you're on fire, you'd wish you were dead immediately.
Yeah. Seen that there picture of the Les tree. Fear and Darkness Falls. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna duck out, man, because I got to get to bed momentarily. I have to be up early, get my blood work, all that stuff. And,
I got you, Tim.
All right.
But I just wanted to stop in, say hi to everybody. Good to see all you guys, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to have you on.
Take care, all four of you. Yeah, I'm one
all
of the four. All three of you.
Well, I mean,
I'm looking at the
Robert's
screen,
watching.
and there's 4 people on the screen, and I forget that.
I mean, Robert's watching, and so is Irene.
Well, but then I was going to say also, this way. I was going to say,
good.
or no, the comments are this way on YouTube, right? They're this way.
Oh,
nope.
So
this side.
And if you're on Facebook, then they're underneath. So for all of you under there and over there, have a good night, and I'll talk to you all later.
All right, cool. Good night, Tom.
All right, good night, Tom. See ya.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah, release that darn cold that Robert says.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what other traps because let's see. I'm like because later on Xavier went crazy, just like trying to like after he discovered that what Jigsaw said in the tape, the numbers to the combination to the safe where the antidotes are in, the numbers are on the back of your mind. And so turns out that Jigsaw had put numbers, a tattoo of a number on each person, and those combined are the combination to the safe. And I'm guessing he has to follow he mentioned rainbow, and also each number on each person was a different color. So I'm thinking, okay, so he has to follow the same colors as the rainbow
in order to get the combo. First, I thought to myself, even if he's so desperate and wanting to find out what the numbers are, my first thought was, even if he's looking at the numbers, which exact order are they supposed to be in? But now I understand that they were different colors.
Yeah, that's right. And here, Braxton said, "I've only seen the parody of Saw in Scary Movie 4." Oh, yeah.
Braxton, if you decide to start watching the Saw movies, you're in for a hell of a time.
Yes, the Saw, I forgot I had the Saw case over there, but yeah, the Saw franchise, it's worth seeing. It definitely is. Yeah, especially the first 3. It's some are better than others, but the first 3 are always been my favorite. And also Saw X, the most recent one, which serves as a in between sequel. It takes place after the events of Saw 2, but before the events of Saw 3. So.
And they're going to extend it more with the next Saw movie. So that's going to be a direct sequel to Saw X. To me, the way how I see it is that Saw 3, they ended the franchise too soon, ending with John Kramer's death. They killed him off basically too early. So I think in a way it's like,
whoa, don't spoil the movie for him.
I know, but we do spoil at times though. But what I'm trying to say though is the fact that they're making these new movies, it's almost like they're trying to make up for all those lost years, to feature more John Kramer before. So I think that's where I think the franchise is going right now, is to feature more with them before he had his replacement.
Well, think about it also. When you sit there and make a movie, you're on a budget, right? So you got to follow this budget. You got a timeline and all of this. And it goes back, you can go back to the classics. Look what happened. technology caught up with them, and it's like, okay, I want to do this movie this way, but they were restricted because of the budget, the technology, and everything. And then they come out with, what is it? Just before they did the prequels, and I'm talking the Star Wars movies,
Right.
they remade the original first three and put in all this stuff that they couldn't put in before because the technology wasn't there.
Yeah, that's true.
So you had all this added stuff again to the original Star Wars movies, and it's like once oh wait, they go back and maybe they watch their own movies. I don't know if they do or not, but they go back and say, "Damn, I should have done this instead," or
Yeah.
"Damn, it should have done," And when they get a chance to do it, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, but the Saw franchise is like known for having plenty of good twists and turns in this. Like,
yeah, there was a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah,
there was,
and some of them are absolutely brilliant, especially the one in this film. But Squid Games, I still gotta see that show. And also speaking of shows, season 2 of the Last of Us.
I was going to ask you, did you watch it?
I'm going to watch it tonight. I didn't get a chance because I was too busy the day before, yesterday and the day before. But yeah, I'm watching it tonight.
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just going to say right now, I was so excited when it was premiere, although I had to wait a few hours because, unfortunately, the basement actually down here was quite a mess earlier that evening. So I was going to have to, reschedule, clean. Now it's cleaned up. But what I will say, though, is that I'm not even joking, I literally had to wait till 2 a.m. to watch Last of Us because my dad was using the TV upstairs, and again, the basement was a mess, so I had to wait until he was done. And I had to work the next morning. Mm-hmm. But you know what? The sacrifice of watching the season premiere of Last of Us was totally worth it. You're gonna like it.
Yeah, I hear they adapted a couple of particular scenes from the game very, very well in this. So
yeah, they did.
Yeah, scenes from the game that I know all too well because I've played the game, so I know every single thing that happens in the game. So yeah, I'm pretty smug that the people who haven't played the game but are watching the show, it's like, yep, I already know what's going to happen. So
the only thing about season 2 in this case, if you probably haven't heard, there's not going to be as many episodes as season 1 was. Unlike season 1 where there were 10 episodes, in this season there's only going to be about 6 to 7 episodes, I think, this time. Yeah. But I will tell you this, ahead of its premiere, the show has already been renewed for a third season.
Hell yeah.
It will be a season 3.
Oh.
All right. Okay, so anyway, back to back to Saw. Oh man, what more can I say about this movie that hasn't been already said? I mean, the effects in it are really good. It has some tons of shocking moments.
There's one scene I want to bring up.
Well, yes, tell me.
Well, let Joe go first, and then I'll explain.
Well, I was just going to say something. Out of all the moments, they always got to put some characters that just don't have a brain. Because why would you look into a peephole as you're trying to unlock the door?
Yeah, I can't remember one time I've ever done that in my condo. Let's see. I should look inside the peephole as I'm unlocking my front door.
Right. And I mean, you should think, this guy's a psycho. Wouldn't you play it safe, trying to unlock the door, like kind of, back away and kind of like, do this number?
Yeah, like use like maybe one of those needles to kind of go in just to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, they were warned, though, that key came with a note that says, do not attempt to use this key to open this door.
Yeah, well, they got warned, all right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Well,
but that was still stupid.
Yeah.
Well, and even the guy that you were just, Xavier, was when he finally had the key and they had the timer that was about to go and like they had only just a few seconds. It's like he didn't even know how to use the keys. If it was given to somebody else, there would have been a good likely chance they would have escaped.
Yeah.
He's like going like this, basically.
Yeah, but they don't want they don't want them to escape too fast because then the movie'd be over. See?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
still, you didn't know how to use the key.
Yeah, like when Amanda was in that. Yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier. When the pit of needles trap. When Amanda finally got the key, only 10 seconds, which would have been just barely enough time to unlock that door. Xavier had to drop the key twice.
Yeah, I know. That's
Twice.
That's what I mean.
Right, I know. It was stupid.
It was his own fault. I mean,
Yeah,
he was the one who
didn't even
he's
know
the one
how
who
to
should
use
have.
the key.
I mean, he's the one who should have been in that needle pin in the first place. That one was
Oh,
intended
shit.
for him. That one was intended for him.
Yeah.
But no, he was a coward and he just threw somebody else.
I would say, when it comes to something like that, I get it. When you're in a moment like that, yeah, we'd all be panicking, and there are times that our hands would be shaking because we're so desperate to get out. But this guy, basically, his reaction and the way how he was handled was even worse.
Yeah, exactly. Then he went full on psycho on everybody. You know, he killed Jonas later on.
It was his fault.
Well, like I said, there's always that one dude in those movies that's just totally stupid, totally worthless, you know.
Yeah, no, really.
And also, there's a chance he could have helped Addison when she had her hand stuck, but no, he just left her there to bleed to death. And even though it doesn't show her that she actually died, I'm pretty sure she did, because that kind of blood loss, I'm pretty sure. I mean,
well,
inside your wrist, there are veins and arteries that could kill you within seconds if they're cut.
Exactly.
That's what I was about to tell you about, Don. That other scene involving the glass box and just those blades that are in the glass box, and that she's trying to she tries grabbing the antidote, and you know what she could have done to prevent this. I mean, yeah, it still would have involved injury, but it probably wouldn't have been as brutal as if she just stuck one arm in, and if she just like could have pushed maybe parts of the blade so she could reach in more, she could have done that. If you know what I mean.
Like, yeah, maybe like knocked it from a certain angle.
She could have like maybe somehow try to stick her fingers just like to push the blade away.
Maybe.
But at this point, you're already forgetting one thing. All these people are panicking because he already told them on that first tape that there's a gas or something that they were already inhaling, and they've only got so much time before that gas, you know, starts to make them die.
Right.
You know, so you're going to be in that panic state the entire time you're trying to get out of that room.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
The one thing that's going to be in the back of your mind is I've got 3 hours to get the hell out of here or I'm dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
One way or the other.
Yeah, they're pretty much like doing whatever it takes to like try to find an antidote. Like that's all she was focusing on, getting that antidote. She wasn't thinking straight. She wasn't thinking about the blades, nothing. But
when the guy came to get the number off of her tattoo, he could have smashed that box or something with something around there.
He could have.
He looked like he was a pretty strong guy too.
Yeah, I don't think he gave a damn one way or another.
Oh, he didn't. But it's just one of those things that you think, you know, the more people that survive it, or the more people that are alive to help you, the better chance you got.
Right. There was one other scene that I forgot to mention.
I was going to say one more thing about that. Just seeing.
Go ahead.
Just one more thing about that. It was, I don't know what it was to me. It just looked so much more even graphic that as her hands continue to be cut with the blade, her wrists continue to be cut with the blades, and with that blood dripping down, and it makes her face literally look like that. It's like being covered in blood, but it's really the light that's coming through, giving that illusion like that there was blood on her face. But I don't know what it is too, but if you look very closely, especially in the still photos or in the scene in general, like from the film, where it just looks as if her blood that's dripping down her arms.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it starts becoming a lot more darker looking. And
it was cooling, yeah.
I don't know what it was, but again, just that scene and the blood becoming darker as it drips down her arms. That is just, to me, just so painful to look at.
It is. It had some realism to it, yeah.
Well, she definitely didn't have much time before she was going to die.
But it was so slow again.
One of the girls was already collapsed dead because of the poisoning.
When you think about this in some of these movies and some of these, different horror films and stuff like that, people that slash their wrists and stuff like that, they do it for a reason, because there's like a main artery right there. And if you cut that main artery in your wrist, you can bleed out within 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're done.
Same thing like in the neck. There's the carotid artery.
Carotid artery is right, the big one in your neck. And if that,
Yeah, that's one of the biggest that's one of the primary arteries, because that artery, the carotid artery, is responsible for transferring blood between the heart and the brain.
Right.
So in this case, with her wrist being cut, it obviously cut both of her arteries. So that probably caused her to literally bleed to death in minutes. Yes, you're right. It probably happened on camera, and you do hear her scream in the background. But when those screams, stop, that obviously means that she probably died shortly afterwards, because it's just brutal to look at that.
It was. When we forgot to talk about earlier was when they were raiding the factory, which they were led to after Matthews remembered what that device that Michael had, bless you, the death mask. It listed the company that it was from. They traced it to that company, which was an abandoned steel factory where Jigsaw was at. He was just operating from there. When they raided that factory and the SWAT team goes in, they have to go up the stairway, right? There's caged walls on both sides of the stairway. And at the top of the stairs, there was the puppet that came in by tricycle and was doing that laugh. The door closes behind them, and only one of those 3 members of the SWAT team that was in there survived, while the other 2 were electrocuted because he did go against the walls. But what did happen, though, was also pretty painful. He tripped. No, yeah.
I had to play it.
Yeah. He tripped a wire like this. One of the stairs was rigged, and it pushed against his shins and broke both of his legs. And I'm just wondering just how powerful that rigged stair step was, because those underneath your shins is the tibia, which is the second strongest bone in the human body, and that breaks out at about a force of about 1,000 psi. So that fixed that rigged stair had some serious force in order to break both of his legs like that.
Yeah. I gotta just say real quick, that clip I just found of the puppet. Somebody here said in the comments, "This would scare Shaggy and Scooby shitless," and I love the response, because I know this is from Family Guy. You're right, Scoob. We're dealing with one sick son of a bitch.
Indeed, he is.
Yeah, he's not wrong. What Fred says.
I don't think Shaggy and Scooby were much ever scared as much as they were just paranoid.
Yeah,
they're paranoid for the majority of the time, like half the time, and the other half they're just scared as hell.
Yeah, so that laugh.
The other half, they might have been more hungry with the munchies than anything else.
Yes.
Yeah. So
let's see.
That laugh that would just cause paranoia for.
Let's see. So they were 50% scared, and I want to say maybe 25%. 50% paranoid, and maybe 25% scared, and the other 25% hungry.
Yeah,
I guess that's one way to separate all that.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay. Yeah. So I figured out the formula with those characters now. I figured it out.
There you go. You'll have to write a report on that.
Yeah, that's right. 50% paranoia, 50% scared, or 25% scared, and 25% have the munchies. That's how it is with those characters. That's the code.
I mean, a guy eating dog snacks. I mean, he had to have been stoned.
Yeah,
definitely. It's just like I said before. It's just insane how we
snack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just insane how we miss those like those hints as kids, but as an adult, you look back on that and it's like, oh yeah, that guy was definitely stoned Ed.
Well,
I can't believe I'm about to say this.
You wouldn't believe how much we missed as kids growing up.
I know. Well, that was the same for us, and
especially in the cartoons.
Oh yeah, there were a couple of adult jokes that were in Shrek that most kids have missed, but yeah, that's another story.
I'm not gonna lie, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm just gonna make just a quick word of note on this. Dawn, my niece, she actually at times has she's actually tried to get into like the cat and dog food. It's like tried eating it. And obviously we know it's not good for I'm even like saying, I don't even I'm sorry.
It's not meant for humans. So no.
Yeah, it's like I don't think she's supposed to be eating that stuff.
Hey, Braxton, just that context, Braxton. Yeah, like we were bringing up how Jigsaw's the puppets laugh. They were mentioning how that would scare the hell out of Scooby and Shaggy. And we were talking about, that's how Scooby and Shaggy are. They're like 50% of the time they're paranoid, 25% they're scared, and 25% they got the munchies. Yeah.
In case Braxton didn't hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing Braxton had to go do something and now he's back.
So. Yeah, that's why I wanted to play it for him.
I got you. Yeah, and so turns out this whole Amanda's whole involvement in this is she's involved with Jigsaw's whole plan in this. She turns out to be Jigsaw's apprentice because she decided the Jigsaw decided he needed an apprentice for after he dies from his cancer, and this also served as an opportunity for Amanda to take revenge on Detective Matthews for planting fake evidence that got her put away, and then spending that time in jail, she got addicted to drugs, and that's what led her in her downward spiral. And that is until Jigsaw crossed paths with her. So
yeah, because she beat the drugs before she even got charged, and planted evidence to get her busted, and she was clean at that point.
Yeah. That's what.
She got herself clean, and he got me busted by planting evidence, and but I didn't even see that coming. The whole apprentice thing, I saw some of it and I was wrong on a lot of it, but I had no idea of that twist. That was a pretty good twist.
It was.
That was.
I saw that caught me completely.
I was wondering how they were going to carry that on. You see Jigsaw's face and all of this, and he says he's dying, he got cancer. It's like, how the hell did they make more beyond this then?
Yeah, it goes in all sorts of different directions, Joe. You keep watching the series, it'll continue to surprise you.
Well, I don't usually watch more than 3 because after that they usually suck.
Well, not in this case. They turned out pretty good.
Some exceptions, because didn't the Dream Warrior series, the 2 Nightmare on Elm Streets, weren't those after 3?
It was Dream Master and Dream Child.
Right.
Those were just meh. They were all right.
They were okay.
Let's see. I wish I can go back to the 70s. Oh yeah.
I wish I
me too.
I was gonna say I wasn't even born in the 70s, and I wish I could go to that.
I wasn't born in the 70s either.
Yeah,
but I was alive during the 70s.
Yeah, I was. We weren't born to the 90s, so that's why I wish I could go to the 70s.
I would probably want to go back to June 15th, 1975, so I could see one particular film.
I think I already know what this movie is.
What was that?
Jaws.
Oh, Jaws.
Oh, that reminds me.
Yeah, maybe if I go back in time to 1970, hey, maybe I'll be able to meet my dad because he saw that premiered in downtown Chicago with his buddies.
Don, just a reminder. Speaking of which, I'm keeping an eye on it, but considering this year the year that Jaws is turning 50, there's no doubt in my mind they're probably going to have like another one of those AMC showings at the theaters showing Jaws for the 50th anniversary. Now I've already seen it. Now, yeah, I was going to say now I've already seen it myself in theaters, but I thought how cool it. You know all too well that that's a movie I'm willing to see every year because that's essentially a summer movie, and I would love to have you, Rochelle, and everyone else come out so you guys can it for yourselves.
We could. Yeah, Braxton makes a good point here. Yeah, you see all kinds of things in cartoons that you don't get away with in these days.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Oh, 80s would be a good decade to
80s
experience as
too.
well. Yes.
Experience.
I'm not just talking about the movies and stuff. I'm talking about the cultures of back
Culture,
then.
music. Yeah, just everything.
Clothing. Oh my God, the clothing. Parachute pants.
Yeah, it was like all futuristic stuff they had.
Yeah.
And and I'm actually going to throw this out.
Why you make me feel old, Nick?
We could experience, let's see, Hawkins, Indiana, the Upside Down. There's all sorts of things in the 80s we could see for ourselves. Girls who can lift cars with their mind.
Well, and also one thing I'm going to say
girls that had hairdos, they could do just about everything. You know,
say one thing
they made Marge Simpson looks her hairdo small.
I'm going to say one thing about regarding what Braxton had said, saying like when kids' cartoons had smoking, drinking. You know what? I could just think to myself already. And what I'm about to, this is probably the earliest cartoon. It's also an animated film that it's probably the earliest one that I know of. It came out in the 1940s. And let's not forget, of course, it was also at that time one of Disney's first full-length films, obviously Pinocchio. You remember during that scene on Pleasure Island, they were drinking, they were gambling, they were smoking cigars.
Yeah. Nick, there's plenty of things from old school Disney that did not age well today.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
If we were to get into that, we'd be discussing it all day.
Yeah.
Why do you think they changed some things in the remakes and the live action movies, such as the cats from Lady and the Tramp? Let's see, Dumbo. They got rid of the crows. There's all sorts of things. But yeah, like I said, we could go in. We get into that. We'd be here all day. Yeah, but anyway, so that was Amanda's motivation. As far as bless you. Yeah, she wanted revenge on Detective Matthews, and in the end, she did. She had him trapped inside that very bathroom from the first movie. Yeah, he said, "Now you're the one who's trapped and alone."
I remember watching that, like when they showed the bathroom with the first one. I mean, it made me jump up like immediately the first time. I was like, oh, it's the bathroom from the first movie.
Yeah, where they have the rotting remains of Adam and Zepp.
Yep. Well, of his foot.
No. Zepp's body is in there, but Lawrence's foot is in there. Yes. Oh, here. Yes, I totally agree. I agree, and I'm thankful that nightmare is over. I am thankful that they're doing the right thing and getting rid of that show.
That'll bring that up again, huh?
I still want to reach out to the producers and company of that show, literally saying, burn it, send it to hell.
Yeah, burn all copies.
Yeah, send them all to hell.
Yeah, no, take it off HBO Max, burn all copies of it.
Less Velma, more Last of Us.
Yes. Exactly. Oh man, and also to the people to Naughty Dog, give us a Last of Us Part 3. I demand it.
I told you they're going to make a season 3.
No, I mean the video game.
Oh, the video game. I thought you meant the show. Yeah,
Naughty Dog, get cracking on the Last of Us Part 3.
And
I demand
one more announcement because we're talking about Part 3 here. I just want to throw this out. This was announced just a few days ago, but it is officially announced a few days ago that Beetlejuice 3 is officially
you said my name 3 times. That's good. That means I got to come back.
It's officially in the works.
How the hell are they going to do that?
Hey, I have my ways. Hey, after all this time, I can still make people entertained.
In other words, Beetlejuice is officially going to be a trilogy.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised, but they should have stopped.
Should have stopped.
Well, the second one was
I just came back.
The second one was good, but the first one was better by all means.
Yeah.
And when it's like that, and Michael Keaton's getting old.
What?
Yeah,
wait, what did you just say?
He ain't going to be able to do Beetlejuice forever.
Watch me.
Hey, Anthony's watching. Hey, what's up, Anthony?
Hey, Anthony. Yeah.
So, hey, I had to come back for a third film because, hey, everybody keeps saying my name, so I gotta.
I mean, let's not forget, 3 times is truly the charm.
Yep, say it once, say it twice, third time's the charm. Here, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna scare him real bad.
Just watch out for all those.
Yeah, see that was the other big mistake they made.
Yep.
You know what Braxton said. I agree with that. You know,
they had been trying to make a sequel for several years.
Yeah, but they should have done it a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Before some of the actors from the first one were either, passed away or no longer,
Yeah, it's true.
Or too old to reprise their roles.
Well, one
of them is now a convicted pedophile. So they had to stop him from coming back. So because screw that guy.
Well, I can see that happen. I understand that, but
I'm not even going to say his name.
I mean, I like that character. That when their caseworker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they didn't even bring.
But they couldn't. She was dead.
Gina Davis.
Oh yeah, Gina Davis. Yeah,
was the actress, and then I don't remember who the guy was.
Alec Baldwin couldn't come back because he was going through some legal problems, and
because of that movie.
I'm guessing if he couldn't come back, then Gina Davis wasn't interested in coming back.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Gina Davis looks quite old now too.
I'm pretty sure she'd appreciate you saying that.
I'm sure she does.
And then I'm trying to think of. There was one more actor who was in that movie who's passed away.
She's been over 100.
Blanche Shaddix.
Yeah, her last film was Mars Attacks, another Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
And also, should we cover Mars Attacks on here, or is that just more sci-fi comedy?
That's more sci-fi comedy.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Let's see. Oh, one movie that we definitely are going to be covering real soon, getting back into Stephen King, because it is springtime and lots of high schools are starting to do their prom season. You guys know where I'm going with this.
Carrie.
That, which also reminds me of another movie we should carry.
I'm a big Stephen King fan.
Well, in addition,
I don't read books. I hate reading books because they put me to sleep. But I've seen almost all of.
I love that reaction. Well, and in addition to Carrie, there's another movie we should cover too because it also deals with proms too. Don, Prom Night.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Like somebody I've been messaging just got back to me. Since it's Autism Awareness Month, I'm going to back to my grade school to talk to a class about autism. The person I'm in touch with, my pre-K teacher, she just got back to me. That's why I was looking over there. But what?
It's interesting. My dad, as usual, he was watching CNN earlier today, and they were actually they did a segment about autism saying that it's really increasing. And it's interesting. I didn't know about this. I mean, I thought it didn't really matter, but they said it's also starting to increase with, people of like other ethnicities, backgrounds and stuff like that. So it's becoming a lot more diverse, which I find interesting. But they're saying like 1 in 34 kids now, by the time they're age 8, they're most, 1 in kids that are at the age of 8 and over have autism. So,
but would that be because, they used to, a lot of people got misdiagnosed?
They talk about
other medications that they should have never been put on.
Yeah, they did talk a little bit about it. They obviously they can't talk about everything, because that would take a while. But they did talk about misdiagnoses. And
with what they learned over the years, in technology advancing and what they've learned, they're probably just now diagnosing some of the people and realizing how much of an issue, people really have.
That's correct. Yeah. So that's exactly what they were talking about. And not only is this a case of the misdiagnosis from years ago, but something really tells us that we're definitely going to, like, as a new generation is born, we're definitely going to see, we're definitely going to see a more increase when it comes to people with autism and Asperger's. And they also want to make it clear because unfortunately there are this is a really important message. I know we're off topic, but it's just a quick message since it is Autism Awareness Month. And Don, as you and I who have autism ourselves, somebody who's actually running an event, in an autism awareness event, he says, because unfortunately, even if it is true that more people, including kids, are being diagnosed with it, unfortunately, some people are seeing it as an epidemic because there's so many more people being diagnosed with it. Let me tell everybody out there,
including Bella Ramsey.
Yeah,
we were just talking about The Last of Us, and Bella Ramsey has just confirmed that her diagnosis.
Yeah, so therefore, just because we're seeing an increasing diagnosis with autism and also Asperger's, even though the number is rising, as this guy had said earlier today on CNN, yes, there may be a higher increase, but it is not an epidemic or has any type of levels like the same it was with COVID a few years ago. It's just a natural diagnosis that's just becoming more common with a lot more people nowadays. And I'm not the first to say this, but there's actually been a lot of people on these different podcasts who have said, due to the fact that we're starting to see an increase of it, how do we not know? What if it's possible that autism and Asperger's could be in some way, shape, or form the next step to human evolution? And maybe it is.
Could be. It could be.
Because
and let's see. And yep, it's confirmed. It's it's confirmed. I'm going back to my grade school on the 23rd, Wednesday, to talk to some kids and blow their minds about autism. So
look at that, what Braxton just said. Chris Rock found out a few years ago he is autistic too, or so. I had no idea. So I mean, think about it. 50 or 60 to 100 years ago, it used to be like 1 in 50 or like anywhere between 50 to 70 people, or even higher than that, would be diagnosed with it. And now, like I said before, now it's like that's dropped dramatically. Now it's 1 in 34 people that would be diagnosed.
And now we're everywhere.
Even back in the 70s, it was frowned upon, and it really didn't matter of your social status, like where you fell, if you were low income, high, what end of the scale you were on. But it was frowned upon to go see a psychologist or psychiatrist.
Yeah, it generally was.
But they would rather lock you up and lock you away somewhere than have you see a doctor and find out what's really wrong.
I know, it's really sad. That's why I always try to, when I go, I know it sounds again off topic. That's why when I go to, like, those haunted mental institutions, like, Penhurst, for example, if I ever get the chance.
Insane asylums.
Yeah, the insane asylum.
It's just disgusting.
That did house people like me. I mean, like us. I don't blame them for being angry, even still to this day, as spirits. But I'm hoping to bring, whenever given the chance, I could try to go to one of those locations and try to bring them some closure, to let them know that people like us today, we're no longer being kept in those type of places.
Yes, and and I'm just thankful that my grandpa Don was able to avoid that, because I have suspicions that he was on the spectrum as well. So, and let's see, he was born in the 1920s. So
that was during that era. So that's why when it comes to those type of locations, obviously you go to those places today, in addition to being abandoned, yes, they're haunted, but the spirits of these people are extremely angry for the way how they were mistreated in life. So I'm hoping, as a person just like them, going into one of those locations, they can understand, yes, they probably don't want to hear it from people who are alive, but if they hear it from someone who's just like them, and knowing that we're no longer being treated, yes, it's not going to bring back for what they lost in life. But I'm hoping to bring some kind of closure to them, to let them know that we're not being kept this way anymore. We're finally
the world has evolved.
We've evolved, and we're finally given the same rights as people without disabilities.
Yeah, and I'm acting
be able to move on and finally rest in peace.
Yeah, most importantly, that would rest them.
And I'm acting as one of those individuals who improves the way people think about autism, and that's one of the biggest reasons I have a YouTube channel.
I have a nice show.
Yeah. my channel shows the high functioning side of autism. Like I'm basically showing people that I'm capable of thinking clearly. I'm capable of absorbing all this information about film. Something I've been passionate about from an early age. Then like and the fact that we were able to do such like things that people would consider extra very unique, like my reading ability that I've had since I was 3 years old, being able to read
Yeah.
novels back then, like not. And I've asked like if any when people learn to read, and some people say like probably 5 or something, be able to read on my own, but I read a lot sooner than that.
And that's the same thing with me. I mean, in addition to like what you said, I have my own show, as Braxton knows, and the rest of you guys know with Nick Files. That I mean, yes, I co-host several shows, but I have my own independent show in which I do a lot of research, which is a lot of hard work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, obviously, I made my film. You and I worked on a few films in the past, Don, and also I'm trying to get into like music now. And of course, I have my own Facebook page, with scary stories presented in the dark. And of course, not to mention all these investigations and stuff that I've been doing. And just like you, people were trying to stop me from following my interests, when I was younger, especially
Mm-hmm.
paranormal side of things. And I was even scolded for it numerous times, but I never regretted my decisions. I continued onwards, and look where I'm at now. Now I'm still heavily involved with the paranormal field 20 years later.
Yeah, and basically like I'm just combating bigotry because of all that ignorant nonsense that people were saying about me when I was little. And you know what I do in response? Everything they say I can't do. They say I couldn't go to high school. I did that. They say I couldn't go to college. I did that. I can't drive a car or own a car. I did that. Can't get a full time job. I did that. Own a house, own a home. I did that.
Well, there's nothing you can't do. That's
Exactly. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
The best part is proving everybody else wrong.
Right.
Yep. I've disproven all bigotry, all of it.
They misdiagnosed when I was married to my first wife. She had a daughter. She was misdiagnosed. But if you see that girl today, now that she's been diagnosed, got on the proper medication, like you, Don, she graduated with high honors from high school, went on to college, got her driver's license, and all this stuff was things people were saying she couldn't do.
Yep. I just love seeing,
and now she's like on her own, got her own kid, married and all this stuff and living a good life. But it's because she got the proper treatment finally, because somebody saw that she was autistic, not ADHD.
Right. You know what we should do at some point? Because I mean, I know we went off track, but I just had an idea because we're just having no. I was going to say this just gave me an idea. And we've done this a few times on this network. Is that you guys, along with some of the others, if they're available, we should do a separate show because again, being Autism Awareness Month, we should do a show. Just like a one night only show focusing on autism awareness. What do you guys think?
I like that.
Obviously, just got to figure out which. I mean, Thursday nights obviously we can't do because those nights are completely filled. But
actually, you could do it Thursday.
Huh.
We could just do a special episode of the deck, and that would be the.
That's a good point.
And it'd be done before you have to be on Supernatural Talk.
I have an idea too.
We have a 2-hour slot,
and I have a better idea too to add to it because. As you know, Lois has done a few shows on autism awareness. Well, I thought, why not at some point? I mean, whenever we want to do this episode, I'll talk to Lois and some of the other UK show hosts and see if there's a night they'd be willing to cancel one of those shows so we could do an autism awareness show together because they've done it before. I think we get a lot of people coming. Not to mention, I'm sure Jeremy would come on if he's able to, and Nikki too.
On Thursday, if we substituted for the deck, well, Mark's definitely going to be there. And, Mark used to drive these disabled people.
That's right.
And
that's what I have.
transit. He used to drive transit in Madison. And he had everybody from, severe physical disabilities where they had crutches and stuff but he also had the ones that had like autism, and they were on the lower end of the spectrum where they would lash out if their routine got disrupted, or they would, so he's worked with these people and seen some of this stuff firsthand too.
Oh, I believe it. I definitely believe it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, like I know we kind of went a bit off the rails here, but yeah, like
it
well,
happens.
yeah, it is Autism Awareness Month, so yeah, it was a very important topic for us to bring up. Yes, but yeah, Saw 2, a worthy sequel. Like I like it just about like it, I feel like it is as good as the first one. You know, it's as far as like horror movie sequels, this one is definitely right up there.
Definitely.
Yes, I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says. I disagree with Rotten Tomatoes on so many things.
I've never really looked at Rotten Tomatoes. I don't pay attention to their ratings.
Yeah, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes gave Home Alone like a 70 something. Now I'm thinking anything below 90 is unacceptable.
I know, it's crazy.
Here, let's see what's let me just pull up.
And they gave that to Home Alone, and now Home Alone's considered an iconic Christmas movie.
Exactly. Oh, here, Saw 2, 38%.
38%?
Yeah, come on.
It's been like on documentaries and stuff like that. What the hell?
38%?
Wait, I just thought of a childhood favorite here. Something I brought to your attention earlier, Nick, because you said you've never seen it, and that's Sandlot. What did they give Sandlot? If you give it anything below 90, I swear to God. What? 65?
65? I mean, yeah, I mean that may be a fresh, but still, that's relatively low. What the hell?
Sandlot has a 65 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Come on.
Okay.
That goes to show
Rotten Tomatoes, you're killing me, Smalls.
That goes to show you that the people that were running it don't know shit.
No,
yeah,
they don't.
I know.
Yeah, put me in charge of it. I know a good movie when I see it.
Well, they don't even have. I don't even know if they have it or not. I haven't watched regular TV in years. But back in the day, there was only like 3 channels because there was no cable. And they had Siskel and Ebert on late at night.
I loved that show.
And they used to review the movies. And man, I disagreed with them sometimes, but very rarely did those two ever agree with each other.
Yeah.
Well,
I did like Roger Ebert. Me and him did have similar opinions. So the guy was brilliant, no doubt.
Right. They were brilliant, and you could actually take one or the other's opinions and basically say, all right, yeah, I'm going to see this movie based on what they say.
Yeah.
Because they say it's a good movie, all right, or one of them say it's a good movie, I'm going to go check it out. And then normally you wouldn't be disappointed because they were that good.
Right.
Oh, yeah. For years, my dad is like, whenever I talked about a certain movie, my dad referred to me as like Mr. Ebert for like having these opinions, and when a crazy thing, like a couple years back when I was about to do this show, there have been a few occasions where I tell my dad, okay, I'm going to start the podcast soon, just so you know, and just in case I can't talk to you on the phone, Dad, I'm just about to be on the show, so we're talking about this movie, and he's like, go get him, Mr. Ebert.
I still think you should have done one for each category, or at least a couple of categories. Sci-fi, action.
I've had thoughts about that, but the horror genre is just one of the biggest genres out there, and also this network focuses a lot on paranormal. Paranormal fits with horror, so I just thought it fit.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, so does sci-fi, paranormal.
Yeah, sci-fi has some horror aspects to it. Some do. I mean, I know that it's primarily my horror movies that you see right here, but I got a lot of action movies down there. I got comedies, I got sci-fi, I've got international films, I got all sorts of things in this collection. You
got those ones that are considered both because you got sci-fi and horror. Like Aliens or Predator.
Well, and here's something else. I saw Billy say this earlier. He says that he had Twister and Twisters in his horror collection. He said if they were they're not. There may be intense moments, but Twister and its somewhat sequel. They're not horror movies.
Yeah, they're disaster films. Nature
I
films.
actually
But
have
kind
them.
of sit on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, it's in fact
Braxton.
Suspense
collection
type
I have.
action. Yeah, all about the weather. But there's some good ones about tornadoes out there. Besides,
Well, I'm just going to throw this out. If you can give me a quick chance, Don, to zoom in on the screen so people can get a better look.
Oh, here, yeah, hang on. Go ahead.
So right below, right here, from the start on this shelf all the way down, are nothing but weather documentaries. Most of these most of these documentaries and stuff came out mostly in the late 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s, and they are original. Some of these are literally documentaries that you can. They're like vintage, almost antiques, and they're kind of hard to find. I mean, yes, some of them have been uploaded to YouTube where you could watch some of them. I would give
VHS up there then, huh?
What's that?
Well, some of that must be VHS then.
It is.
That old.
And I would pull it out, but this is not all what you see. There's more stuff behind these videos that you see in front. And among one of those, and yes, it's a VHS copy, but among one of those, I still have a VHS copy of Twister.
There you go. You also have a VHS copy of Volcano with the one with Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah, that one I could pull out, which is right here on the bottom, and alongside with it, because I also keep them around the years that they were released. So both these were released in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. VHS, and it's still in its plastic. I haven't even unpacked this.
Ooh, there you go. That might be worth something if it's unwrapped. If it's not, it's not unboxed. Yeah.
And in addition to that, too, this next film came out around the same time, which stars Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton.
That's a great movie.
There you go.
Dante's Peak. Excuse me.
I got that on DVD.
There you go.
I got this on VHS.
And, Dante's Peak is supposedly more scientifically accurate.
Well,
so I have a full, just like you, Don, but in the disaster type genre. This is basically my entire weather collection, and I have documentaries again from that era, again from the late 90s. But I even have older films, in fact, like documentary films that go as far back as the 50s up to recently. I got documentaries up to 2018, 2019.
Well, I had to make room, so I threw away. Well, I didn't throw away. I gave them all the St. Vincent de Paul, all my VHS tapes, including all the Faces of Death that weren't open.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean,
I had to make room because I'm turning everything into a crafting area. So all my DVDs are in like 4 or 5 tubs in this closet.
Oh.
I would basically
see big tubs, and them motherfuckers are heavy.
Hey, I know the feeling. I had to do the exact same thing when I moved into this condo. Have all these in tubs. I did the exact same thing.
I can't even imagine what it's going to be like that day. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm taking the shelf they were on, and I took the TV out of this room that was in this room, and took it out of here. And I'm turning this whole area along this wall over here. You can't see it, but it's got my laser engraver, my sublimation printers, and then the shelf has got all the supplies for all of that.
See, and that's basically, it's interesting. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like for me when I eventually have to, basically have to really box these up to keep them in good shape. Because these tapes, I mean, you have to remember, some of these tapes are have been around for 25, 30 years, if not even more. And yet I've still managed to keep them in really good shape and keep them in a good room. So that's why that's why the film is not deteriorated or anything, because I kept it in a good spot.
Yeah, I took some out of, I had one in storage for like, an outside storage area. I had one for like a few years, and there was some tapes in there, videotapes. I used to own a video store. So I had a lot. I had hundreds and hundreds of movies on tape. When I closed down, and a lot of those tapes, I went and opened up. You can press the button and open up the flap, and the tape was completely gone and rotted out.
Oh, yeah, that's what happens with these
A
tapes.
lot of them ended up getting thrown away. So I do like the DVDs better and stuff because those things will last forever.
Oh, yeah, that's what they're designed for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yep. So that's going to be it for this edition of the FearFans Podcast. So if you're getting into the Saw franchise, as far as the sequels go, Saw 2 is definitely one of the better sequels of the franchise. So, definitely give it a watch.
I'm just going to say this because this is basically a good way to kind of end this. If you have seen the first Saw movie, but haven't seen Saw 2, oh yes, there will be blood.
And I'm not one to like sequels, but this was a good one.
Oh, yeah. It was. Many people argue that it gets better as it goes, but the third one it was good. The rest of them were just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they were terrible. I'm just saying they're all right. Yeah. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for this edition of the FearFans Podcast. Hope you all enjoyed. I had so much fun covering this movie. And I will let you guys know as soon as I can what movie we're going to be covering next week. I'm still trying to decide between Carrie and something else in this collection. Yeah, I was thinking Paranormal Activity 2, Child's Play 2. There's let's see.
Focusing on all the sequels.
Oh yeah, the sequels too. I didn't want to go overboard with the sequels, but let's see. And there are other options let's see, 28 Days Later.
Oh yeah,
Cloverfield. So I'm still trying to think of which would be the best choice. So, but I'll let you guys know. Oh, also Night of the Living Dead remake.
That's another one. Yeah.
In honor of Tony Todd. Yeah, a lot of people did want us to cover that. So we met. You know what? I think that we will do that. Lots of people wanting us to cover the remake for a while, especially now after the untimely death of Tony Todd. So I think we'll do that for him. Yeah, we'll cover.
And also to let everybody know, because again, I know Josh has been watching it. Braxton, of course, has. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm also going to be bringing back Nick Files. As you guys know, originally I would have been done with the Tri-State Tornado presentation. I know it's been almost a month since the end of. Yeah, I just mentioned that, Josh, prom night. I know I would have been done with the presentation by now, since it's now been almost a month since the actual anniversary, March 18th. But of course, obviously, I had to cancel it for the past 2 weeks because I had my work-related accident involving my leg.
Yep.
So, with that being said, I'm going to finally wrap up with part 3 of the Tri-State Tornado 100th anniversary, and hopefully, I could finally start moving on to other projects, other historical events. But I also, because I have kind of taken Nick Files in a different direction lately, focusing, ironically enough, on historic weather disasters. Do not worry, for those who have been watching Nick Files, as soon as I get through some of these other projects, which there's only probably about 2 other weather-related ones I want to follow after this one, I will get back to focusing on historic and haunted locations. You guys have my word for it. It's going to take a while, but I will be back with it. I promise you.
Sounds good, Nick.
Nick Files will be back tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this